Mike Fisher reporting from a brief respite to paradise. Not from Frisco, which is paradise in and among itself. Reporting on your Dallas Cowboys, and of course the NFL draft is getting ready to roll. I think in a lot of regards, by the way, we're going to take NFL free agency and kind of put it in our pocket in talking to some of the players, in talking to some people inside, not this building, but that building. Yeah, let's focus on the draft now. We've shot our shot with the things that we prioritized in free agency. Not that we can't go back and do some more. They can, as we've illustrated here before. They can afford to if they choose to. By the way, thank you for subscribing, for hitting the thumbs up, and for ringing that bell for yourself. Thank you for not complaining because it's breezy here. And I'm not even going to tell you where I am. But, you know, it's hurricane season. So, of course, it's breezy. So, pipe it. So, we're going to put Cowboys and NFL free agency on hold for just a minute. It really is breezy. And we're going to look at, in this visit, the idea of the ideal first two picks. And it's NFL.com that came up with this. And it's fun fodder because I don't think, frankly, and you'll understand why when I get to their ideal second pick at 44, I don't think this is somebody from inside the Star whispering to NFL.com, put us down for these two guys. But I think it's interesting, number one, because we're all having fun with our scorecards. Who guessed right, who knows most, who's plugged in, and then eventually, in 10 months or 10 years, who can actually play. Here's NFL.com, and they went through every team. Here's their ideal first two guys for the Cowboys to pick. Number one, Alabama cornerback Patrick Surtain. This one has been so long rumored and so long connected that I don't know that it's a foregone conclusion. That's not fair. But we do think that the Cowboys like Surtain better than they like Horn. We do think that Caleb Farley is going to end up being fine, but not being picked at 10. We told you this a while back, and more information now is rolling into us on this. Yes, the Cowboys and the owner here, Jerry Jones, really likes the Florida tight end Kyle Pitts. But no, he's not dropping to 10. Not even close. And what we were told about a week ago, and we told it to you, Atlanta at 4, Cincinnati at 5. And now, I was told the other day, and 6, and 7, and 8, Detroit, on and on and on. They're not, all those teams, none of those teams are passing on that tight end. The freakish, LeBron-like, Megatron tight end in Kyle Pitts. So, fine. Patrick Surtain. There's really no problem with that at 10. His pedigree is terrific. His polish is as good as any defensive player in this draft. The measurables are anywhere from good to great. No problem there. Here's where we're going to have our debate, because I don't think anybody's going to do. If they take the Alabama cornerback at 10, especially if we find out that, hey, they liked him as much as they liked the two tackles. And again, let's say they pass on the two tackles and do that. They like all three of those guys and they pick the cornerback. Nobody's going to have a big problem with that. It'll be a combination of judging that player and his talents and being able to slot him right in, plug him right in. And he's a starting cornerback here. Now let's get to pick number 44. And NFL.com gives you Jalen Mayfield, offensive tackle, Michigan. This one, we are going to debate this one. We're going to debate it right now because I don't think that fits with your ideal, and I'll tell you why it doesn't fit with mine. And then if it really happens on the last weekend in April, where in addition to the Alabama cornerback in round 1, they take Jalen Mayfield, offensive tackle, Michigan. Oh, I do think you're going to have some problems with it. I'll tell you what my problem is momentarily, my biggest problem, and it's nothing against the player. Dane Brugler is, as you may know, his close association working with 105.3 The Fan has caused me to have the good fortune of having conversations with him, and I have a great deal of respect for not only his knowledge, but the grind. There's not very many guys that do it more seriously than Dane Brugler does. He doesn't have bad things to say about Jalen Mayfield. He says he's the 53rd best player. Okay, to him. All right. Well, then that's not too bad at pick number 44. That's okay, right? He gives him a second round grade. That's fine. As you've probably learned over the years from listening to another colleague at 105.3 The Fan in Brian Broaddus, first round grade is different from first round pick. There might only be 19 first round grades in a class, but obviously there's going to be 32 or whatever first round picks. So a second round grade on this player makes him very viable. There'll be lots of guys with second round grades that get picked with the 22nd selection, maybe, let alone the 44th. So that part's fine. Here's the Brugler-related nugget that I have a problem with, and I'm going to give you the Fisher-related nugget that I have a problem with. The Brugler nugget is that he ranks Jalen Mayfield of Michigan, by the way, one of seven Michigan. I mean, we talk a lot about Alabama, and understandably so, but Michigan's going to have a load of guys drafted as well. Brugler lists him as the number 4 ranked offensive guard. Well, now wait a minute. That's limiting to me. He's a guard? Because NFL Network says he's a tackle. The fact is, he probably has position flex. And depending on what team he goes to, that team will work with him and decide what he's best at and what their team needs. If he comes here and plays guard and beats out Connor Williams for left guard, okay, that's fine. But NFL.com says they project him, number 1, as being a tackle, and in their comments they say, and he can play guard, or he may end up being the right tackle. Oh no, he won't. No, he won't be the right tackle. The Cowboys have a right tackle in Lyle Collins. Now, he can come here and be swing and help at tackle and guard and all the rest, but this is my big but. Because again, they talk about him as a tackle, and Dane talks about him as a guard. And with all due respect to NFL.com, I believe Dane. So here's my issue, and you're gonna hear me repeat this here over the course of the build-up. I want my second-round pick to be a starter. Is that asking too much? I want my second-round pick, pick number 44, after a year in which I was 6-10, so I get the reward of drafting higher. I want to get a starter at 10, and I want to get a starter at 44. I don't need projects. I don't need flex. I know that the Cowboys think their roster is good, and there's reason to think it's good. That's fine. But it's not so good that they shouldn't be able to draft starters. We're talking about 2 starters. It's not asking that much. Obviously, at the top of the draft, they were successful last year, and really, if you go down and look through it, and you want to include the center, they ended up with more than 2 starters. Well, I got to get 10 and 44 to be starters. So I am not drafting a guy who Brugler doesn't think might have the length to be a tackle. So he can come here and be a guard or be a backup tackle when I'm trying to make a leap with 10 and 44. And I'm not doing it by drafting backups. And so that's my issue. That's why, with all due respect to NFL.com, and they're calling it the ideal. This is the ideal. Surtain and Mayfield. Surtain, ideal enough. Mayfield, not even close to being ideal. So, let's go back to the drawing board. And I'm going back to the beach. Fish out.